Hi guys, my name is Ayappa. I'm a partner and director at Early Man Film. Some of you may be wondering why a filmmaker whose specialization is advertising is giving a TED talk. Because let's face it, people hate ads. When I say commercial break, what is your first thought? I asked my mom what is the feeling she got every time she saw a commercial break. Her answer? So irritating. So I asked more people what they thought. Here are the best ones: bore, annoying, stupid, I want to punch the ad makers. And my personal favorite, puke. It's sad because it wasn't always like this. When I was growing up, I used to love ads so much that I ended up making them. I used to wait for commercial breaks and see Piyush and Prasun Pandey's great ads for Center Shock and Fevicol. We used to discuss it with our friends. Advertising was cool. Advertising created popular culture. Advertising was doing edgier work than films, feature films. Of course, the times were different then, and unlike today, we didn't have a plethora of options to entertain us like we do now. But that's actually not an excuse. In fact, it should better your output. Look at feature films and the TV series coming out of India now. It's such great work. Films and TV series have taken giant leaps forward, but the same cannot be said about advertising, which is sad because advertising films are in a very unique place. You can jump from genre to genre. You really test your storytelling capabilities because you have to communicate so many feelings and emotions and things in like 30 seconds in such a short duration. You have access to huge budgets, much more than feature films, which means you can employ the best crew. You have enough time to work on your commercial. You can really indulge. You can shoot 50 takes of the same shot, overanalyze the color of a curtain, get 10 options to choose from, and then still throw a creative tantrum and pretend to be unhappy. You don't have all these luxuries in long form. I didn't realize this until I shot a TV series for Amazon last year. We were shooting 6 minutes a day. That's about 360 seconds a day. And how many seconds do we shoot in TV commercials? 30. And yet, the result is beyond dismal. And there's no reason it should be. Today, commercials are either just screaming some useless product information at you, or it's some goody goody husband wife mouthing lame lines while giving each other these romantic looks. It could be save clients, it could be lazy creativity. It's not just enough to come up with a great and crazy idea. Everybody has good ideas, that's what we do. But you have to get a brand to believe in it as much as you do. And the moment you show hesitation or weakness, or even worse, self doubt, that's the end of the idea. Then you have to find a director who's going to handle it sensitively and not screw it up. So many times you see an inkling of an idea destroyed with lazy execution. Not that it's a smooth ride for the director either. Everybody involved in the project has an opinion, which is fair. When you're paying money for something, you will have an opinion. When I'm building my house, I am going to tell the architect what color to paint the walls and piss him off. In advertising film production, we have something called the PPM, the pre production meeting, in which the agency creatives and the director have to present their vision of the film to the client, which most people dread. And over these years, I've noticed these two issues and concerns keep cropping up. One, the film should look premium and upmarket, which means don't have dark skinned people, have only fair skinned people, and fake looking houses. You've seen advertising houses, right? Have you ever seen a single house like that in India? I saw a commercial where a kid returning home from school is greeted by his dad, who's standing in this huge lawn and he's wearing like this British overcoat and this beret. Looks like Sherlock Holmes and looks ridiculous. No Indian dad dresses up like that. How will people believe you or connect with you? Number two, don't make it dark, which is a really strange thing to say when your film is set at night. It's night, it will be dark unless you live in Iceland. So it's all these buzzwords that have been passed down decades and decades from conference room to conference room. It's becoming an industry in itself, and there's no logic or any justification to it. So now I'm going to show you a couple of long commercials that don't adhere to these rules and will also help me fill up my mandatory 18 minutes so I don't have to talk so much. The first one is for Ambuja Cements, starring the wrestler Khali. Initially, we had a lot of outlandish scenes about a man with superhuman strength, but then we decided to do the opposite of how we would approach a job like this. So, Indians like loud humor, let's do something subtle. Ads must have good looking people, let's only cast strange looking people. And we played down the joke and treated it like a documentary about a man who's cursed with strength.
कभी सोचता था मैं अगर मैं औरों की तरह होता, पर मेरी माँ कहती थी नहीं बेटे, तू स्पेशल है। और ऐसा ही चलता रहा। अपने आप को मैं हेल्पलेस फील करता था। फिर एक दिन मौसी ने बताया अंबुजा सीमेंट से घर बना लो। उसके बाद पता चला घर पे रहने का मजा।
You notice the last shot, his eyes are darting nervously from one side to another. A lot of people in front of the camera do that once they finish a take because it's an uncertain moment for them and they're seeking approval from a director or whatever. So we kept the cameras rolling even after that, even after saying cut, and we got those expressions of Kali being slightly unsure. And we used that in the film. And it showed us a very real and endearing side to him, and it ends up humanizing him. It breaks the fourth wall between the ad and the viewer because it's real and unstaged and raw, and you can see the person behind the star. So you have to keep looking for things like this when you're shooting, things that cannot be storyboarded or explained, all these happy creative accidents. And that's what makes work fresh. The next commercial I'm going to play is a public service announcement which doesn't have deaf, blind, or limbless people, which is a first for Indian advertising, but it still manages to elicit a strong emotional response. Some opinions may differ, but advertising is not pure art. You can approach your creative process and your approach to it can be like art, but end of the day, it is a commercial art. Some years ago at Cannes, you had the film festival, followed by the pornographic film festival, and then you had the advertising film festival, just to put things in perspective. But every once in a while, you can toy with that by creating a storyline and visuals that are a little more abstract and something that draws you in because of its mystery and invites you to interpret the images as an intelligent viewer.
പണ്ട് പണ്ട് കാലത്ത് സൂരപദ്മന്തണ്ണു ഒരു രാക്രാസി ദേശത്തൊരു തെക്കില് മഴനെ തടുത്തത് ബരബാത്ത് ജന നീർക്ക് പൊത്തത് ചിക്കി ചോത്തത് ചത്തുപോച്ചി അത് കണ്ട് കവേരമുനി തപക്കെച്ചത് മാദേവ് മെച്ചിത്ത് വര കൊടുത്തത് നാ പറന്ത് നാടപ്പ് നാക്ക് കാവേരിന്ത് പെതലിട്ട്.
If you're feeling a bit emotional after seeing that, don't worry, the next one will change that because I've been instructed to speak on the CRED campaign that ran a month ago on the IPL. You know, it's like one of those ridiculous scripts that you present at a meeting and then you go, haha, just joking. And then you present the actual one. But here you had a client who was egging you on and getting you to push it more and more. And that's great because then you have the freedom to do what you want. And you have to deliver because you can't blame the client later if it turns out like shit.
Baby, you are my CVV, I am your OTP. When we come together, the payment is easy. Download trade, baby, download trade.
This campaign poked fun at lazy copywriting, hiding behind celebrities and masquerading as ideas. It also proved that in Bollywood, if you pay enough money, celebrities will do anything. The campaign was fearless because the client and the creatives understood that people want entertainment, they don't want ads.
Credit limit may go down when we do Zora Zori. We will never default on our love story. Download trade.
Seriously?
Let's just do a simple voiceover like download cred.
Sometimes the creative risks that you take just don't work out because you have to take them for the right people. Sometime back, we were in Delhi and we were presenting a film that the agency and me thought it turned out quite well because we had really worked hard on it. And we presented the film with a lot of pride. But there was like radio silence from the other end of the conference room. And they hated the film and they said, this is the worst film we've seen. It's not funny, it's too subtle. And really launched into us. And in fact, then one of them started acting out some scene from some David Dhawan film and said, this is how we should have pitched the acting. And then it would have been funny. And after all that, they said, we're not going to pay you the balance that they owed us. Really smart guys. So We were really shocked, and I took a photo of this moment. Does it look like these guys are going to buy anything half decent? No chance. You're wasting your time and you're just getting disillusioned. I look at this photo every time I go meet a client for a film briefing to remind myself that everybody has opinions, but you should only take the ones that matter to you. Still, I've had many films bombed. So either you're a shit director or maybe the work that you're doing is radical and far away from the current cliches. And you need to know the difference, of course. So one should not get bogged down by rejection, especially when you know what you've done is good. In fact, you should take it as a compliment because historically people have always reacted negatively when they see something new. Even visionary works like Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey was panned by critics and the people when it came out in 1968. Today it's considered the greatest sci-fi film ever made, after Koi Mil Gaya, of course. My amazing luck seems to have followed me into long format as well. The show that I'd worked on for 3 years has run into some trouble because of the new OTT censorship laws, blah, blah, blah. Of course, it's very upsetting and unsettling, but this is the time we live in. Everybody's so busy virtue signaling and getting offended with everything. And Indians suck at self-deprecation. We really don't know how to laugh at ourselves. And networks are scared of this unreasonable backlash. And this is creativity's biggest enemy because then you're trying to second guess that a section of society is going to get offended, and that really affects your output and blunts your edge as a writer. Considering the current climate of the country, it's ironic that this statement came from Arun Jaitley. But what he's saying is great because well-meaning criticism in the form of a joke is good because it gives you objectivity and is an opportunity for you to better yourself. So it's good to laugh at others, laugh at yourself. It's therapeutic and makes you a better person. Look at all the edgy content on social media like hilarious Insta stories and memes. This is what the top boss in a meeting called it. We need to connect with the Indian youths with memes. So take a look at this meme. Years after I've seen it, it's still so irreverent and funny. And this is what ads are up against in the future. Because TV advertising isn't dead, it's just going digital. And you have to adapt to a more irreverent and edgy sensibility for it to work online. Of course, India is still a very heavy TV market and most ads are still made for TV. But when those commercials are adapted to digital, it can't be as simple as shooting the same commercial in a 9:16 vertical format. It's not just a technical adaptation, it should be an ideological adaptation. So the old rules don't apply. Dads can't be wearing berets in a tropical country like India. Advertising films have to stay edgy and relevant because people want to be entertained. And if they're entertained, then maybe, just maybe, they listen to what you're selling. Many years ago, when I was traveling, I saw an old lady in the smoking section at the Osaka airport. She must have been about 85, and her job was to clean one of those big dustbin-shaped ashtrays in the airport smoking lounge. So that ashtray had these two compartments. So she meticulously took it apart and emptied the butts and the ash from both. And then she took the bottom part and took a cloth and started cleaning the whole thing and really wiping it until it shone. Then she kept it back, and then she took the top part. She took another cloth and started wiping it until it was really gleaming. And then she put both of them together, and it looked like it belonged in some museum. It was like shining so bright and looked so nice and clean. What was a routine 2-minute job took her 15 minutes to do. She was really into it. And I was sitting there and enjoying this magical illusion when suddenly two guys came and stubbed their cigarettes, and it was spoilt and it ruined the effect. My point is, if an old lady can devote so much passion into something as inconsequential and mundane as cleaning an ashtray, so why can't we do our best in whatever we do? So whether you're making a TV commercial or a feature film or even making Maggie for dinner, do it in the best way possible. Because when you push the limits of your craft, you just push the world forward just a little bit. And that in turn may end up as inspiration for somebody else.